Okay, here we go. Ubisoft love to just drip feed us the tiniest amount of Assassin's Creed Shadows details. This time in the form of an in-game screenshot regarding assassin recruits. The barber asks Ubisoft, what cut you want, G? Ubisoft says, give me what I like to call the $0 marketing budget bowl cut, and BAM! We get another Assassin's Creed Shadows tweet. By the way, if you hear a load of like banging and walking around upstairs, I'm pretty sure there's a guy moving into the apartment above me. Hello? No, I don't think he can hear me. Call your shinobi recruits for supporting combat. Strike together for the League. And we've got a in-game screenshot of Naue with her hidden blade extended, erected, and an enemy facing her with Yasuke, I think it's Yasuke anyway, behind the character, along with two assassin recruits coming to his and her aid. Now we need to focus on the word recruits, and to me that says a lot of things. It says it's probably going to be a lot like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Assassin's Creed Revelations in the way that you could go out in the world, find people being attacked by guards, recruit them into your Assassin Brotherhood, and then they would come and fight for you. You could take out guards, they could help you in battles, you could level them up, and you could send them out on a sort of mini-game missions to, you know, collect income and that sort of thing. Now, will that be exactly the same in Assassin's Creed Shadows? I mean, I hope so. I think it's a pretty good system. I'm playing through it at the moment. I just finished AC Brotherhood, and I'm sort of midway through my playthrough of Revelations. And I really like the Assassin Recruit minigame. Again, the more they level up, you can get them to Master Assassin, and in Revelations, once you got them to Master Assassin, you'd unlock specific assassination missions with them. Now, that could be something interesting to see in Shadows. Now, Assassin's Creed Shadows is set in a time where the Assassins and Templars were both two powerful factions. Yes, they were underground after they were sort of driven that way sometime after the Third Crusade, but think sort of Ezio's time when they were sort of gaining sort of notoriety. They weren't the largest and most powerful they'd ever been, but they're much more powerful than they would have been the modern day in Assassin's Creed. So it makes sense that just like Ezio in Renaissance Italy, you're going to be trying to build up and establish the Japanese Brotherhood throughout Japan. And what better way to do that is to recruit people and, you know, send them out on assassin missions. Leads in with lore and narrative, and it also plays in nicely with, you know, extra gameplay elements that just change up the gameplay loop, make it more interesting, make it more interactive, I guess you could say. All we've got is what looks like an in-game screenshot that's probably been modified to look a bit prettier, you know, for a tweet. And there's no real information on how this system will work. They didn't show this off in the gameplay preview. What they showed in the gameplay preview was a classic bandit camp, and, you know, that's all we saw. That's probably because that's what markets well to a mainstream audience. You see something kind of generic, oh yeah, there's stealth, there's fighting, that looks cool, I'll buy it. And there wasn't real much depth into the systems of gameplay, that sort of thing. Same thing happened with Mirage. So there's a chance that building up into the sort of marketing stretch between now and the release of the game, if they do end up having a big marketing budget, or even just a sort of medium marketing budget, or just have an idea of how they want to portray different trailers, different overviews leading up to release, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of video that kind of goes in depth into the new gameplay systems and shows off this recruit mechanic. I mean, I hope it incorporates a lot of what we saw in the older games like Brotherhood and Revelations. That being said, you know, that doesn't mean it has to be a complete carbon copy of what it used to be. They could add new elements, perhaps. Perhaps they could be better incorporated into the main story. There's a lot they could do with it. Just because it was good in Brotherhood and Revelations doesn't mean it was perfect, and could definitely have been better. So yeah, polish it, refine it, make it bigger, better, perhaps, or you don't have to, but it could be. Now, another thing I want to look at is it says, strike together for the League. Now, what does the League mean? Obviously, this is something to do with story that we don't know about yet, perhaps, but it's an interesting choice of words, the League. I don't think they would have tweeted the League unless, you know, it actually meant something towards Assassin's Creed Shadows, again, that we don't know of yet. Could that just be a branch of the Assassin Brotherhood in Japan that is called the League? Are they going to be called, like, the League of Shadows or something like that? I kind of hope not. Sounds kind of cringe, mate. But you never know. On top of that, notice they never really say assassin recruits, although I do believe it's going to be, you know, shinobi's part of the Assassin Brotherhood. They don't mention assassins, they just say your shinobi recruits, which obviously is kind of another word for ninja, if I'm getting that correct. It does make me question how much of an assassin Naue will be and her recruits. Again, I think it is definitely going to be the Assassin Brotherhood, and you are an assassin fighting for the Brotherhood, but I wonder at what point does that become a thing? Does it start off with Naue just being a shinobi of her own, and sort of how it was with Edward Kenway and Black Flag, you sort of follow the themes of Assassin's Creed, and then you've got this sort of full circle moment when Naue and Yasuke become assassins at the end? I don't know. It makes me wonder, because again, they're not calling them assassin recruits. That could also just be because they know mainstream marketing does better if you say shinobi, because that's like a cooler anime kind of word. Oh, I probably get rinsed in the comments for saying that, but you know what I'm trying to get at. You say assassin recruits, yeah, it makes sense for people that like Assassin's Creed, but if you're trying to appeal to a more, again, broad mainstream audience, perhaps you use the word shinobi, so it could just be a marketing strategy. Let's not use the word assassins. Let's use the word ninjas and shinobis and samurais, because that's what we want to appeal to. We want to get loads of people that love Japanese culture, Japanese history to buy the game, rather than, you know, hardcore AC fans. So it could just be me reading way too into that with, you know, why don't they say assassins? Why do they say shinobis? But only time will tell, I guess. That's something we can just find out when we play the game, play through the story, and see where it goes. Personally, yeah, I hope that Naue becomes an assassin. I also really hope Yasuke becomes an assassin, because it makes sense. He fights for all the reasons the Assassin Brotherhood at this time in history do fight for. Freedom, fighting against tyranny, you know, for one to be able to choose their own free will. And, you know, within the official gameplay preview we saw, there is this brief moment in a cutscene where Yasuke sort of questions that Brotherhood, those Brotherhood's motives, and it looks like it should hopefully go somewhere with character development to the point where, you know, Yasuke does become a member of the Brotherhood, even if it happens at the end of the game. Thematically, it seems like it would make sense for his character, again, where the Brotherhood are at the moment. You could say, oh, well, Eivor never became an assassin, so of course they're not going to do it with this. But I think the assassins back when they were hidden ones didn't fight as much for freedom. They were a much more unified, sort of uniform group. And I think Eivor, who he was at the time, probably wouldn't have aligned himself with the assassins, because again, he is all for true freedom, you know, not being tied down to one group, to be able to express yourself how you want to, sort of. So yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense that he wouldn't join the hidden ones at the time. If the assassin order was how it was sort of post Altair, when Eivor was around, then yeah, Eivor, I guess, probably would have joined the assassins. We're looking way too into it, and this has nothing to do with the actual tweet of assassin recruits. So let's get back to it. Overall, I'm just very curious to see where this gameplay mechanic's going to go. Is it going to be intrinsic to the core gameplay elements of Assassin's Creed Shadows, or is it going to be more of a sideline thing, kind of like how a lot of elements in Assassin's Creed have been in past games? Here's an example. Assassin's Creed Revelations has the tower defense minigame that you play like one time, and then as long as you keep your notoriety down, you don't have to play it again in the entire game. Could it be like that? I hope not, because it sounds interesting, it sounds intriguing, it sounds like they're actually trying to bring interesting gameplay elements back into Assassin's Creed rather than just the generic, let's infiltrate a bandit camp, take them out, loot the treasure, and we move on. I'm sort of sick of that at this point, so hopefully we get something new, something interesting, something reminiscent of older Assassin's Creed and reminiscent of newer Assassin's Creed, and hopefully they can blend it together to make a decent game. We'll see. I hope they do, but it's Ubisoft. They could easily just fumble the bag and make a terrible game, if I'm going to be completely honest. So yeah, what do you guys think about this? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? What's your take on the Shinobi recruit and the word strike together for the League? What does that mean? Let me know in the comments. We'll get a discussion going and build that AC community. If you want to stay up to date with everything Assassin's Creed Shadows and beyond, then feel free to press the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Also, you can also follow me on Twitter, where I often tweet about Assassin's Creed shit. I love you guys. May the Father of Understanding guide us. I will see you soon. Goodbye.